Hey guys, what's up? It's a culture detective here investigating your favorite movies, and today I'm going to do a movie review on Cidade De Deus, or City of God, a movie released in 2002. It is from Brazil and it is directed by Fernando Meirelles. So, um, yeah, City of God. Watched yesterday, and it's pretty great. So this movie is essentially a crime drama about the gang activities and the wars between rival gangs in City of God, which is literally the name of a city near Rio. And this movie sort of depicts the very gruesome and sad reality that this is, including all the killing of innocent children and the fact that innocent children are involved in these gang activities which are getting them killed, and the corrupted state of police, and the fact that people are actually scared of the gangs and nobody's helping them makes this whole reality a really sad reality. And the whole movie is basically narrated by this guy whose name is Rocket, and he's basically like the witness. He's not playing a huge role in the story at all. He's loosely related to these characters, but he basically knows what happened and he basically talks about it, narrates over it, and he's also a photographer and he takes photos of those things, so it makes sense that he would know all this and he would narrate all over this thing. And so, first of all, I want to say that City of God is not like I expected it to be. It is actually the kind of movie that I would call a novel movie, where watching movies like this is like reading a novel, where instead of seeing and hearing a story, a very tight paced and tightly written story from beginning to end, watching this movie is like reading a novel about a certain subject, and this time it is the gang activities of City of God in Brazil. And we see and we hear the history of this gang and that gang, this character and that character, and there are also a bunch of other events that are loosely related to each other, and they all sort of tie together and form kind of like a piece of history. And this, in some levels, actually reminds me of Goodfellas by Martin Scorsese, where again Goodfellas is a crime drama that feels more like a novel than a tightly written, tight-paced story, where it is essentially the history of gangs again, but this time American gangsters. The main character is Henry Hill, and we see the beginning and the end of the story. And similarly, City of God is kinda similar. We have the story of Little Z, the most notorious, cruel, brutal, evil, sociopathic gangster boss in that city. And his rival is Carrot, who is a white guy who is a little softer, a little weaker, but also hates Lil Z. And there's just a war between them. But there's also a lot of history behind Lil Z's upbringing. Lil Z and his friend Benny, they used to work for the Tender Trio, and there's a lot of history in that as well. And Rocket's brother is also in the Tender Trio, and so it sort of complicates like that. The strongest aspect of this movie, in my opinion, is the editing. The editing in this movie is godly. The editing is godly. It is actually amazing. The intro scene with the chicken letting loose and the people, the gang, the children just chasing after it with guns, the screams, and the music. It's so well edited and it's such an intriguing movie opening. And there are also a lot of cool transition shots, like in the opening scene, the whip 180-degree pan, amazing. And there are also a lot of very cool cuts and transitions in this movie that's so friggin' great that rivals like Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And yeah, the Little Z killing montage, it's painful to watch, but it's also really well edited. Little Z, as a kid, points a gun towards the camera and laughs and shoots. And we see him at the same position, shooting and laughing, but as he grows up and in different locations. Such a brilliant montage. And then there's a scene in the middle of the movie where there's a dance festival, there's a dance party, and it was just flashing lights. And because of how it's flashing, it's almost like we're looking at a series of photos that are very poorly lit, and a very climactic scene happens under those flashing lights, and it's just brilliant, really. And there are also countless other montages and really well edited sequences in this movie that are amazing, and it makes this movie so well paced, in my opinion. And what I also like about the plot of this movie is that it sort of deals with the endless cycle of crime in such a poor and underdeveloped neighborhood. You're gonna expect crime, no matter who it is. I mean, even if Little Z does not exist, even if Carrot didn't exist, there would still be gangsters and criminals all over the city. It's never going to end. It's inevitable. It's an endless cycle of crime. And this movie portrays that really well, especially at the end. And yeah, pretty great movie. I wouldn't say this kind of movie is the kind of movie that I would constantly go back to. Because I wouldn't say that the cinematography is like the best or anything, but the editing is definitely absolutely insanely good. And so yeah, City of God, Cidade de Deus. I'm sorry if I butcher some Portuguese. I'm giving Cidade de Deus 9 out of 10. Aside from this movie, yesterday I also watched a 3-hour-long, full-fledged Inuit film for my cultural anthropology college course, and that film is called Atanarjuat, The Fast Runner. And yeah, it's 3 hours long, and it's an Inuit movie made by Inuits, made for Inuits. It's not meant to be understood by other people in the world, and I actually respect that a lot. I didn't know what the hell is happening 75% of the time, and I actually really respect that. Of course, given that this production company, this full-on Inuit production company, isn't really that wealthy or anything, the production quality of the movie isn't really all that great, but I respect that this movie is full-on Inuit, and it doesn't try to water down its culture or anything. And it's also really slow paced. It's 3 hours long. Oh my god. But yeah, not that bad of a movie. Not that great as well. Just alright. At the end, I would like to say that the final exams for my college is coming up, and all at the same time, I have to handle my short film, which I will be filming tomorrow, and I will be editing in the next few weeks. So I'm going to be pretty busy for the next few days. I'm going to try my best to keep making YouTube videos, but I'm not going to be posting as much. I'm not going to be posting much reviews or anything. Maybe I'll post a couple meme videos and pre-recorded stuff, I guess. But yeah. So what are your thoughts on these movies? From 1 to 10, how much you rate them? Like if you like them, subscribe if you want more. Thanks for watching.